look at Floyd. Like, Floyd spends money like it's a tap. Like, he's got a tap, just like unlimited amount of money. Money's just flowing. And even as much money as he's made in his career, which he's probably made as much, if not more money than any boxer ever. Like, there's all these lawsuits. Like, he hasn't been paying things, and he owes money on this and owes money on that. And it's like, and then he's got to come out of retirement.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough. I think it's just the lifestyle that Floyd lived.
Yes.
I think he can't fathom to just live a modest lifestyle. It's like he gotta be lavish.
Right. He's got to have those videos where he shows you all the watches, where he opens the case up, you know.
All the money. He gotta show that he got $1 million in his backpack. And, you know, he got the latest watch and the latest car, and look what I just bought.
And when you get into latest watches and latest cars, you get into that, like, boy, that money goes quick.
Yeah.
Bugattis are like $3 million. There's watches that are $3-5 million. That's crazy. So you buy a watch and a car, you're down 10. That's nuts.
When Floyd Mayweather's real estate claims came up, Joe Rogan didn't hold back at all. He basically stopped the conversation and made it clear he wasn't fully convinced, saying the numbers in detail.
And one of the reasons why people watch him fight is not because he's like Mike Tyson, just goes out and destroys people. They like watching him fight because they hate him. Because he talks so much shit, and he's like, look at my $1 million watch, look at my jet, look at my house, look at this. He's like constantly showing you all these things that he has. Like, he'll lay out watches in a hotel bed, like, this is $1 million worth of watches. This watch goes for $2 million. And they're like, this is my small watch that I take sometimes, but when I'll show you, when I'll show up, I bring out the big boy, and it brings out this watch that's covered in diamonds. It's like $5 million. And so you hate him.
And that Floyd owes like $1.4 million in jewelry debts, that Floyd owes like hundreds of thousands of dollars in rent for a private New York apartment, his private jet fuel. He's not paid hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of fuel and maintenance. He put up one of his jets that I think he even sold, but one of his jets, and I want to say one of his properties, like one of his homes, up as collateral for a $54 million loan from a individual, from a billionaire, that had a 9% interest on the loan.
Joe Rogan questioned the entire story surrounding Floyd Mayweather Jr., arguing that claiming to own dozens of properties worth millions sounds impressive. But there's a big difference between making bold statements and
owe that money to the IRS. How much does he owe?
It's in the $20+ million range.
It's a lot of money, man.
But it's not something that he's been, it's not like deception.
No.
It's just neglect to pay.
Neglect. And it's also like, I think, and there is like a truth to this. He makes so much money. There's probably a point when they're like, hey, it's time to pay your taxes. And you go like, all right, here's a check for $25 million. That's an incredible amount of money. And then they go, that's true, but you owe 50 more. And he's just like, that can't be right. I've given you $25 million.
Yeah, he's bought over 100 luxury cars from the same dealer and always pays in cash.
He has $15 million worth of cars.
Congrats.
That's where things started getting interesting, because Floyd Mayweather Jr. built his entire Money Mayweather image around endless wealth, huge cash displays, luxury watches, and the idea of owning a powerful financial empire. But according to reports and discussions circulating in business circles, the reality
Mayweather is made, and because he's the best in the history of pay-per-view at making sure that the money ends up in his pocket. He is or has been a businessman as an athlete that almost doesn't have a peer because he owns all his own stuff as an independent. Your spending has to be so fiscally irresponsible to lose the amount of money that Floyd Mayweather has lost that it is almost beyond anything that is reason. It's not merely fiscal insanity. It's something that doesn't make any sense to me.
Right. And another sign of him maybe in financial trouble is, as of February 2026, Floyd Mayweather has initiated a massive $340 million lawsuit against Showtime Networks and former executive Steven Espinoza. So he's trying to get some bread right now.
The estimate is that he made over $1.2 billion over the course of his...
According to Business Insider, 2 commercial properties connected to Floyd Mayweather Jr. reportedly went through foreclosure issues, and there were also claims that his Las Vegas strip club property could face seizure because of unpaid taxes. On top of that, lawsuits over unpaid luxury watch and jewelry purchases, allegations Floyd has denied, shifted the discussion away from flashy wealth and towards serious questions about his finances.
They said that, things that they said in this article were insane. That Floyd owes like $1.4 million in jewelry debts, that Floyd owes like hundreds of thousands of dollars in rent for a private New York apartment, his private jet fuel. He's not paid hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of fuel and maintenance. He put up one of his jets that I think he even sold, but one of his jets and I want to say one of his properties, like one of his homes, up as collateral for a $54 million.
The report also claimed that 2 Trump Las Vegas condos linked to Floyd Mayweather Jr. were temporarily seized over unpaid taxes before being returned once payments were made, while a huge loan reportedly used his homes, private jet, and businesses as collateral. Whether it's a misunderstanding or an exaggeration, the difference between Floyd's public money image and these reports has clearly sparked major debate. Joe Rogan had already raised doubts about Floyd's financial empire, but then Chael Sonnen jumped into the conversation with zero hesitation, basically saying people shouldn't be acting surprised by the rumors at all.
What's wrong with that? And why are we attempting to tease Floyd? Is Floyd Mayweather? Yes, he's broke. Of course he's broke. He's a boxer. Did they say he can't read? That's not to tease him. They say that he can't read. His best friend at the time said that he can't read, and he never denied it. I don't tease him for it. He was a guy who grew up in a boxing gym, right? It's one of these things. You know what you know. You know what you were taught. I didn't teach him about contracts. I didn't teach him about saving. I didn't teach him about investments. Who would have taught him these things?
Chael Sonnen turned the question back on the audience, basically saying that if regular people work every week because they need money, then it shouldn't be surprising for a boxer to keep fighting for the same reason. His point came across as a mix of blunt honesty and classic trolling, but he kept pushing further by challenging the massive payday stories often linked to boxing. Chael argued that many of the billion-dollar earning claims and huge pay-per-view numbers mostly come from promotional headlines instead of publicly verified financial records, adding that the companies handling the pay-per-view sales have never fully confirmed some of those massive figures. That statement alone sparked even more debate around years of boxing hype and financial narratives.
You got baby mamas all over the... What do you mean is he broke? Of course he's broke. What boxer do you know that isn't broke? What a ridiculous question. But it's the fact that they're attempting to tease him. I mean, first off, they're asking the question. Look, I've told you until I'm blue in the face. The numbers that you hear in boxing simply aren't true. Floyd made $1 billion. No, he didn't. Floyd and Conor made $500 million. No, they didn't. Of course they didn't. Nobody's ever confirmed that. And it's the same thing with the check. I got $100 million for a fight. Oh, you did? Who signed the check? Whoever signed the check is going to want credit for it. There's never been a time that $1 million check was written and the dude that wrote the check didn't make sure that somebody found out he wrote the check. So who wrote the check? Floyd's got a whole bunch of them, apparently. He got $1 billion. Who wrote?
At the same time, Chael Sonnen wasn't only criticizing Floyd Mayweather Jr., he was calling out the entire way sports finances are presented to the public. Then he shifted toward the contract drama, explaining that Floyd publicly announcing multiple fights while a possible Tyson matchup was still being discussed would frustrate any promoter because timing and exclusivity are critical in the fight business. That's where the situation became even more ironic, as Chael pointed out Floyd's own accusations against Showtime over alleged shady business practices.
And I'm only sharing with you, like, the numbers aren't what you think they are, right? The numbers are good, and they made a lot of money, but it's not what you think it is. And yeah, of course Floyd's broke. Would you be boxing if you weren't? And it's very tough to be...
While critics accused Floyd Mayweather Jr. and his promotion team of creating similar confusion during the Logan Paul fight situation, the whole story started feeling like a mess where everyone blamed someone else. But the interesting contradiction Chael Sonnen unintentionally exposed is that people may question Floyd's money, doubt the reported paydays, criticize the contracts, or dismiss the exhibition fights. Yet the moment Mayweather's name appears on a fight poster, the entire combat sports world instantly pays attention.
Owes Logan Paul $1.3 million. No, he doesn't. Just to clear that up, no, he doesn't. Will Logan ever get the money? I think Floyd's broke. Floyd does not owe Logan $1.3 million. Floyd's promotion owes Logan $1.3 million. And no, of course he's not going to get it. That promotion's already shut down. Alleged.
Chael Sonnen had already fueled the rumors about Floyd Mayweather Jr. possibly having financial problems. But things escalated when Jason Whitlock and his panel joined the discussion, turning it into what felt like a full investigation into Floyd's finances instead of simple fight analysis. Whitlock backed the idea from Shannon Sharpe and Gilbert Arenas that Floyd's return to fighting could be motivated by a huge payday. Once names like Canelo Alvarez, Manny Pacquiao, and Terence Crawford entered the conversation, the business side became impossible to ignore because those are the kinds of super fights capable of generating massive money. Then Whitlock shifted the discussion in a different direction by bringing up the famous, "Why do you fight?" line from Rocky, suddenly turning the entire debate into a surprisingly philosophical conversation.
Suggested on their podcast that Floyd Mayweather is talking about coming back, unretiring.
He is.
Because he's broke.
Yeah.
Let's play the clip here of Shannon Sharpe and Ocho Cinco.
There are only 3 fights that Floyd can have.
Floyd Mayweather Jr. built his entire brand around the idea that money equals success, even rebranding himself from Pretty Boy to Money. Jason Whitlock pointed out the irony in that, saying when your public image is tied so closely to wealth, even small rumors about financial trouble can quickly turn into major headlines. Then Dre Baldwin added a more practical view, explaining that the real question isn't just what Floyd earned, but what's actually known about his liquidity, assets, debts, taxes, and lifestyle, basically the full financial picture behind the flashy image. The panel also joked about gambling losses, IRS issues, and luxury spending, making Floyd's career seem less like a simple success story and more like a complicated financial puzzle. Still, despite all the debate about his age and whether he should return to the ring, everyone agreed on one thing. If Floyd ever announces a fight with names like Terence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez, or Manny Pacquiao again, the same people arguing about it would still tune in when the bell rings.
$1 billion and he's 47 years old and he's completely broke. He's won the prize. This is, of all the idiots that we've seen out there, celebrities, actors, entertainers that have lost a lot of money, this guy would take the cake. To blow a bill before he even hits 50 is unimaginable. It actually is sad. It's a cautionary tale. We have seen it time and time again. But who actually wants to watch this guy fight? Like, people that love him. If he comes out and if he loses and looks terrible and gets destroyed, well, look, if you love him or hate him.
Jason Whitlock and his panel had already turned the discussion around Floyd Mayweather Jr. into something that felt like a financial courtroom debate, full of speculation and arguments about money. But then Andre Ward stepped into the conversation, and the tone shifted right away from hot takes to a more thoughtful fighter's perspective. Ward made it clear he has always respected Floyd's discipline and work ethic, reminding people that behind the flashy lifestyle, the cars, and the private jets, there was still a fighter who stayed committed to the gym and the grind. He also admitted he's conflicted about a potential comeback, not in an attacking way, but from a place of understanding how deeply boxing becomes part of a fighter's identity. Ward explained that the adrenaline, the spotlight, and the huge fight night payouts create a feeling that's hard to replace in normal life, which is why returning to the ring is never just a simple decision.
Business. He's been filthy rich. He's made his name, his legacy, and a lot of his reputation wasn't just the boxing, it was the money. It's the money man. What I have, what I'm driving, what I'm living in, what I'm flying in. And a lot of people, they don't like that. I don't know if Floyd Mayweather had more supporters for most of his fights or more haters. But regardless of where you fall on that line, Floyd Mayweather made it work for him when many people, promoters included, network.
Andre Ward brings the kind of insight only a former champion can offer, and as the conversation shifts toward a possible rematch with Manny Pacquiao, his analysis gets even sharper. Ward points out that older fighters often end up in more active exchanges because they can't rely on constant movement and speed like they used to, which means less footwork but more trading in close range. That one idea challenges the assumption that such a fight would automatically be slow or boring. At the same time, Ward highlights the real risk of aging in boxing. The mind still believes it can perform at the highest level while the body starts to fall behind, a mismatch that has led to serious consequences in the sport over the years. Even though he says he would prefer legends like Floyd and Pacquiao enjoying retirement instead of returning to the ring, he admits curiosity still takes over because whenever two iconic fighters with history step back into competition, the entire boxing world ends up watching anyway.
A fighter, he'll say he don't watch him, but he'll watch any potential opponent over and over and over, and he has to process, can he do anything with me? How does my skill set line up with his? Can I beat him? The problem with being 49 years of age is sometimes your brain can see things and tell you things that your body's not in agreement with. That's the problem with age. Your brain is still saying, I'm him. Your brain is still saying, man, I'm Money Mayweather. Man, these youngsters can't deal with me. But your body is saying, brother, we can't do it like.
When you step back and look at the whole situation, it feels like several different viewpoints colliding at once. Joe Rogan questions the idea of a flawless financial empire, while Chael Sonnen challenges the way boxing paydays are often presented and talked about. At the same time, Jason Whitlock and his panel break down the business and lifestyle side of the story, focusing on money, branding, and public perception. Then Andre Ward brings a completely different angle, reminding everyone that boxing becomes part of a fighter's identity in a way money alone can't explain. One side of the debate says a potential comeback from Floyd Mayweather Jr. is about chasing another big payday, while another suggests the financial rumors are overstated, and Ward's perspective adds that some fighters return because they miss the spotlight, the competition, and the adrenaline that normal life can't replace. In the end, it becomes a clash of legacy versus money, business versus passion, and no matter which side people take, the fact that everyone is still talking about Floyd proves how strong his influence in the sport still is.
That's the struggle, and that's the danger of coming back at this age. So part of me wants to see these guys continue to make money. Part of me wants to see these guys, how do they do it at this age? Man, show me something. Show me how your mind can overtake the deficiencies you may have in your body at your age. But the deeper part of me, man, I want to see Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao on a beach somewhere, living off the fruits of their labor, helping the game however they see fit to help the game, and just watching the next generations do what they do. But hey, we got to fight.
Now I want to hear from you. Do you think Floyd Mayweather Jr. coming back is about money, love for the sport, or unfinished business with Manny Pacquiao? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's really talk about it. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Boxing Headquarters. See you in the next one.